Blog Talk Radio.
It's not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. No, I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. You lost your mind when you dropped that bomb. Girl, are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me, but baby, it's lie like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's whatever, and I would never. Yeah. You've been flexing everywhere, girl. Look in the mirror, man. You so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lying like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Control the weather, then every day would rain on your parade. Shine, you can't see anything, yeah. If I was Father Time, then I would change the day, so I never saw your face.
Hello. I am your host, C-Mo of What's Really Going On Blog Talk Radio Show and Podcast. I am so excited that you have decided to hang out with me. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is where you are. I'm glad that you decided to spend that time with me. Listen, guys, I have not been on for a while, probably since before Christmas. I hope everybody had an amazing, outstanding, wonderful Christmas that you can remember. For me, I don't know, for some reason I didn't feel very Christmassy. This was the most un-Christmassy Christmas that I've had in a while. But I am enjoying the time off. I'm looking forward to all the great things that are going to come in the new year. I wish millionaire on my life and everybody else's. I speak that into existence as much as I can. because the goal is to be a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire if possible. But anyway, so I miss being on. I'm back. I'll be back on every Friday like I used to. Like I said, it's been kind of on and off lately. I really needed a much needed break. I was actually coming on since the pandemic first started way back in March of last year, or slightly before that. I was on like every Friday evening at 10 p.m. I was always on, and so then my time would change. I would do it on Saturdays. I had probably did about 80 episodes straight every Friday for several weeks in a row, and I just needed a mental break. I needed to just shut it down for a little while. But like I said, I'm excited to be here and be back with you guys. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about is I get a lot of content, or a lot of what I talk about is just like questions that people may email me about, or it could be, somebody say, hey, have you ever talked about this on your show? And I'll be like, no, not really. Well, have you thought about talking about it? So I'll talk about it. But the other day, I just so happened to be on Facebook, and somebody posed a question. The question was, why don't marriages stay together now like they used to? Like in the old days, people would get married and they would pretty much stay together forever, right? But then as I thought about it, it's so different now. Everything is different. The way we view things are different. Now people say that everybody is woke now, and they kind of see what's really going on. Some things that we just kind of blindly, went through life, or we didn't question it because we were under the assumption that that's how things are supposed to be. That's how they always were. And so we kind of just ran with it. You don't want to break traditions. You don't want to stop doing things that families have always done, things that are just traditionally done here. And it's just the culture, or the United States. It's things that we celebrate or whatever, and how we do things. We just don't want to, go outside of the box, or think outside of the box, or think things should be done a different way. But anyway, so, people posted several different answers on why they think that people don't stay married now, and I'm gonna tell you this. What I noticed is a lot of people now, they might be in college or whatever. They'll meet somebody in college and they get married, and they start planning and building, and and things like that. Now, I can only speak for my own situation when I was married and why I'm not married anymore. For me, okay, so I was 26 years old when I got married. Me and my husband both, we were in the military. We were both young. We were the same age, 26 years old. And the idea of being married, and I was 26, and I just thought that was probably the age that I should be getting married, or, getting ready to settle down. And I can say that I had quite a few friends, male friends, boyfriends, whatever. And I was going clubbing, I was hanging out, I was doing all the things prior to that somebody my age should have been doing. I think I joined the military when I was 22, got married when I was 26. But anyway, so, in my mind, I was doing, like I said, all the things that I was supposed to be doing at that age. And so I was thinking, okay, well, I kind of love this guy, and we're going to be shipping off to different places. So it's best for us to go ahead and get married, right? And so I did things in the order in which they should have been done. We got married. We were buying a house like within probably 4 or 5 years of us getting married. Then we had my son. But then I realized that we were starting to grow apart. And when I say we were starting to grow apart, I mean, like, as far as ideas and things that he was doing, I didn't agree with. Things that I was doing, he didn't agree with. But we never really had that communication like we should have. And we probably had a godless marriage, like marriage. And I think that had a lot to do with it too. But what I think nowadays, people get married for the wrong reasons. People don't. Um, I'm statistically speaking, these are some of the things that statistics say people don't stay married for things like not discussing financial debt and things like that prior to getting married. Um, they don't communicate once they get married. Um, Infidelity, of course, cheating. For some reason, when people get married and have kids, the intimacy sometimes dwindles away. And it was a few other factors: work, not being on the same page, having different goals in life, growing apart. Basically, what I mentioned earlier. But there's so I'm gonna tell you one of the things I think too that interferes with people's marriages is nothing is private between those two people. People nowadays can actually make income by sharing all their life and all what goes on in their home, by sharing it with people on the internet or other places like that. Like people can just look at your everyday lives, and people overshare and they post, and people are only going to post the good things that are happening in their life. They're not going to post like when they're arguing or fussing or fighting. But a lot of people look at these scenarios. I can remember some years ago I was working at a middle school here in Florida, and one of the young ladies at the time, she wasn't married yet. She was living with her boyfriend, and she mentioned the fact that why don't we have, because people post pictures and family trips and stuff like that on Facebook, and she said, why doesn't my boyfriend ever why don't we have the cute pictures on Facebook? That's a goal that she had. That's something that she wanted. But I just feel like some things should be kept between you and your spouse. And I don't know if you all heard me tell this story before about this guy that I was dating, like I think it was last year or the year before, something like that. And very quickly, when we were dating, probably about 4 months, and about the 5th month, he was talking about getting married and stuff like that, right? And so I was like, no, that's a little bit too soon for me. I don't really know you that well. And so anyway, we kind of stopped talking, and then so he started talking to somebody else very quickly. And he was engaged. Probably about 4 months after he stopped talking to me, he was engaged to be married to somebody else. And then I guess that didn't work out. Then probably about 5 months after that, he was engaged to be married to somebody else. So he did get married, and I talked to him. He messaged me like after he was married, and he was saying something like, he missed me or something like that. And I was like, well, what's going on? You just got married. He was like, yeah, but it's not, it's not what I thought it was gonna be, and we should have got married. And the very next day, he was on a flight. Him and his wife was on a flight, and they were flying out of town to go somewhere. But what I noticed about his relationship, and I don't know if you ever heard me talk about him before, but I always said the guy was a little bit feminine to me. He had some feminine traits too that kind of threw me off. So I used to always ask him, who raised you when you were younger? And he was like, well, it's my aunt, my grandma, and my mom. I said, okay, so that explains that he had a lot of feminine ways about him. But what I still noticed about him too, well, to me, he had a feminine energy. So I was always under the impression that he was gay or something. And he always used to ask me about my hairdresser too. So I always thought he was gay. And not saying that my hairdresser is, but I'm just saying he used to always, for some reason, ask me about my hairdresser. Right? And so anyway, what I noticed about him is the woman in that relationship, or his wife, she never posts pictures that I see anyway. But he posts pictures all the time. So that's another red flag for me. It threw me off. But anyway, I think he just wanted to be married, because he also said to me all his friends were married, and he felt funny because he wasn't married, and he wanted that, and he wanted a 5-bedroom house, and he wanted this, and he wanted that, and he wanted the other. And I said, well, okay, I hope you get it or whatever. But it was just several red flags with him.